Jay, did you ever have a time, maybe early in your career, where you did chase that, where you did chase the next shiny penny?
Early in my career, when I wasn't coached, when I wasn't mentored, and I was just told that the business will come, not knowing how it would come and why certain areas are better than other areas. And, you have an epiphany, an eye-opening moment where you start to realize, who am I going to align myself with? And who do I want to become? And if you break it down, you can go outside of our real estate space. What did good politicians do? They build relationships. What did good church leaders do? They build relationships. What did any good entrepreneur does today? They build relationships. Steve Jobs and Microsoft, Bill Gates didn't like each other, and then they loved each other, and they formulated a relationship, and they went on to be the richest people in the world. What is Tesla doing? Elon Musk doing, the other younger entrepreneurs, the same thing. Now, you can love them, you can hate them, you can disagree with them, but the reality is they're building relationships. And I love when you ask these questions, because I like taking it outside the space of real estate or mortgages. When people, they push back for whatever I do, right, wrong, or indifferent, I say, well, look at the biggest companies in the world. What do they all have? Amazon will say, they have the most customers buying the most products, and therefore the richest guy on the planet. Pretty simple. Apple, they have the best products, what everybody wants, with the most consumers on the planet. It's not difficult to realize if you want a better piece of your business, go build better relationships for your specific real estate or mortgage business. And you'll start to see that come back instead of chasing those shiny objects that you mentioned.
Can you describe some systems that are easy for agents to implement? Like just take you, for instance. What's a normal week for you, or a normal day?
A normal day is just getting up early and plugging into what I like to do, walk the dogs, have my cup of coffee. Good question. Check my Facebook account, because I wish everybody on my Facebook a happy birthday. It's their day. It's their special day. I don't have to sit there with emojis. I don't have to sit there with images. I don't have to be the best birthday wisher. But what I do is I make sure to wish them, because if your day gets long and you say, I'm going to do it tonight, doesn't happen, you skip it. I'm going to do it at lunchtime, skip it. So that's a habit. And as we morph into it, if I see a special person on that Facebook that's not into my send-out card account, then I'll stop and send them a belated birthday card, update the account, and they'll get a card on time next year, which in essence is 2 cards within 365 days, which could be 2 more cards than their owner, their husband, their wife, their girlfriend, their boyfriend, their brother and sister ever sent. So you're becoming a purple cow or a unicorn just in that birthday space. And everybody can do it. So some people say, I don't have the time to do that. Doesn't really work. Okay, make great cards. I think I sent you a card recently. It stopped, put you top of mind. It told you to call me, and you did all those things. Wouldn't that be cool?
I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you guys as I cut you off. Jay sent me a card. He's promoting one of his listings, and actually, you know what? I didn't call you, but you know what it made me do? You had posted that listing on Twitter, so okay. It made me share that listing that you had posted. I think, yeah, it's the Arlington house that you had listed, and Jay had put in the card for me to call him. And by you doing that, you're top of mind. I shared your listing. Who knows? Maybe I've helped you sell it by putting it in front of someone. All right, so you get up, you do your Facebook, you send your cards. What else are you doing and paying attention to keeping these relationships going?
Well, then I train under Grant Cardone University. Every single day I do a minimum of 4 modules. That's the goal. That's the team's goal. You can do more, but you have to do 4 consistently. You don't do 8 and then none the next day. You have to be consistent. That training has really skyrocketed my understanding of business, many different types of businesses, and the reality of handling what people can't do today, which is having thick skin, handling objections. Second place pays the same as 16th place. If you're not first, you're last. Be obsessed or be average. A lot of affirmations, and those are book titles of his great library of books that he's written. And it all makes sense that you could be the hardest working real estate agent and sell 1 home in a quarter because you were nice, you were coming in second, or you were coming in 13th. You didn't have the buyer's attention. You could be the nicest loan officer and give them all the great service. And then they don't understand their value and then they rate shop you, and all that time is wasted and you don't get paid for it. So that is a very good foundation to begin with, so that you get stronger every single day. And of course, part of that is what I call role playing. Sell me this pen, Suzanne. I know you can. When I say that to my audience, they stumble. I wasn't prepared for it, Jay. So if someone was going to buy $1 million home, you're not prepared. Well, that's why you don't sell $1 million homes or $200,000 condo, because you're finding excuses that you should be preparing yourself daily on what might happen out there in the marketplace. So when someone says, sell me this pen, and you can't sell me this pen, go learn how to sell it. What problem is it going to solve? Why would you want this pen? What separates you from this pen when you own it as opposed to this free pen? Simple things like that can help people in their daily conversations when they're competing against 21 offers, when they're competing against Quicken Loan, Rocket Mortgage, whomever.
In my video series, Fridays 5, I had a broker owner, and she's inspired me. She's grown a big real estate company in Rhode Island, and you guys are probably familiar with her, Sally Lapidus. And one of the things that she said was somebody will call and say, oh, I bought a home from so-and-so. I don't know, they had brown hair. And she's thinking, who the heck could that be? You know, I think people are fighting so much for people's attention. What has been one or two things where you've done some of your appreciation tactics and, you know, it's either morphed into additional business or even just a good feeling?
Well, that's a good question. It's a generic question. I think you've got to be authentic. You've got to be humble. You've got to be able to laugh at yourself, cry with others, and just let people know that you are a resource for them. Of course, the pushback is, oh, it's just Jay trying to be a salesperson. And the true people know, Jay is that resource. And if you stick to that plan, you're always going to have the doubters and the haters. And this is what I like about Grant Cardone. If you don't have enough haters right now, Suzanne, you're not working hard enough. Because the haters will turn into the jealous and the envy, and then she's really a rock star. But if you don't have enough haters, you're not getting yourself out there, visible, scratching your knee, breaking some eggs to make a great omelet. And that's where the challenge becomes for most people, because they don't want to be seen in the grocery store, or they don't want to be seen as church. They don't want to be, well, then this is not the business for you then. Or you just can be comfortable with up and down income that your husband, your spouse, your wife, or your kids don't like. But if you're going to be authentic in this business, you understand, as an example, you bring up your professional service fee. I don't call it a commission. Many people say, oh, it's just another salesman thing that you do. No, a commission will evoke an emotion from a buyer or a seller that you're negotiable. I'm a professional service fee. That has never been negotiated in the last 9 years. When I changed my mindset, instead of working on a commission to working on a professional service fee, I have not had one commission acadectomy yet.
Commission what?
Acadectomy.
I like it.
And that's because I not only role play, but I believe in it and I'm certain about it. And I'm prepared to talk about my professional service fee at the beginning, where the amateurs talk about their commission at the end. Which one does the buyer or the seller prefer? They prefer this because they've heard all of this and they're just, when are we going to get to what your fee is? Now, someone can be armed with that, role play, study it, learn it, become authentic with it. And then when you deliver it, they say, I like you. That's something different. And if you need to put in some parameters, Suzanne, if we don't get you $450,000, we agree that we'll reduce our professional service fee to such. It never gets there because you know your marketplace, you're not misleading them, but you're solving their problem. But sometimes a consumer just wants a deal. They just want to have negotiated. So if you know that, don't fight it. I used to fight it until I got coached by some great peers of mine that recognize that if you're solving a problem, negotiations are never negotiated. The problem is most people are not solving a problem, they're not honing their craft, and they're not practicing their presentation except on a live candidate. And that's when they have to surrender to get the business.
Let's talk about some tactics. You know, you've got some good daily habits. Let's talk about how do you manage this appreciation? You know, for some of the agents that are on here, they're familiar with Buffini and they've used some of Buffini's tactics. What are the things that you do and what are the systems that you have in order to make sure that you're, besides, taking a look at the birthdays, what other things are you doing with the appreciation?
So I'll start with Brian, because Brian's my third cousin twice removed from Ireland. And he has a LAER jet, and I only have a Lexus. So he's winning the bank account war. Yet, what's popular is not always right, and what's right is not always popular. And I look at it, and I'll give you just my opinion, that I was a Buffini student and believer. Yet, what I believe he's teaching to many people is staying average. When you put a handwritten card together and you feel good writing that handwritten chicken scratch, nobody can read card, and then you add in 3 business cards, and then you put a tagline, oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals. I think that's terrible. And the reason why, it salivates you, but for you and I as the receiver, I can't read it. It's now not a gratitude card, it's a solicitation card. And it turns my stomach. I'm not going to pick up the phone and call you and tell you that. I'm just going to leave it alone. And that's a higher level of understanding the power of human connection. If I put in a card a picture of you and your spouse and say, I am grateful for the great testimonial and referral on HomeSnap and Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you guys are rock stars. Cheers. And I put in a box of brownies. Enjoy these treats. You've always been a treat to work with, Suzanne. That's going to move the needle, that it's all about you and your spouse and your business acumen. It has nothing to do about me. And that's the mindset that people can't get around. Because yes, Brian Buffini, very successful, very humble, very funny, excellent speaker. But the reality is that people who are writing all those notes get stuck writing all those notes, not knowing why it's not working. And, there's a higher level of referral coaches out there that would tell you that you don't ask for referral until, one, you've earned it. And there's a place in the process of earning someone's trust. Just because you talk to someone at a BNI meeting or at a Rotary meeting or a National Association of Realtor Banker Association meeting doesn't give you the right to send a follow-up card and say, oh, by the way, Suzanne, I think we connected well. I'm never too busy to exchange referrals with you. Leave that alone, folks, until you really build a relationship. Just say, thanks, Suzanne. Great meeting you. Cheers, right? Inquisitive. Get them uniquely interested. On top of that, when my students look to me and they argue with me, which I love, because I am Grant Cardone trained, and I can handle any objection anybody throws at me, I say, why don't you keep, I'm never too busy for your referral. But let's change a couple of words. Suzanne, thanks very much. Oh, by the way, I'm never too busy to send you a referral. Which do you prefer, voicemail, text, or email? Wow. I'm taking it away from me asking and saying, how can I send you one? Now, if I gave you both those, juxtapose those on a whiteboard, which one are you going to pick, Suzanne, as a consumer?
The one that I want the referral, especially if I'm a business person.
Exactly. So if you're a consumer, because I'll teach the people, I say, oh, by the way, we've met. I'm not sure which business you might be specifically in, whether it's the real estate or the financing or that internet business you mentioned. What's the best way for me to send you a referral, Suzanne? See, what you're doing is you're becoming the purple cow amongst your peers and your competitors by just thinking first instead of just reacting. Don't get me wrong, a card sent by Brian Buffini's way is much better than no card sent at all. Here's the point. If you continue to practice to become average in real estate, you will stay average in real estate. And if you then break a few eggs, skin your knees, become the unicorn or the purple cow, you will then become a 10Xer in your business. The question is, are you going to follow the flock or are you going to be the lone wolf? And that's what I've done in our business. That's what Stacy's doing in her recruiting business. That's what we tend to give to our agents. Does it work? Absolutely not. 80% will still do the same thing. 20% will say, wow, this is great information. This is why we stay at LAER. And then you just continue with the day and you continue meeting great relationships. And then you hopefully scale it, which is what we're working on.
What do you suggest for agents that haven't been good about it? Maybe it didn't work their database.
Well, I would start small and don't focus on the failures. We're all going to have failures. Focus on the wins. I love taking me out of the equation and putting you or Dan or another super listener. So my friend Dan, he was working in our company. He was working at KW. Then he got recruited to our company. And he was working with our top team. He was struggling. He was just doing everything else that he was doing. And then he was introduced to me and was watching me. And he was doing what maybe some people on this call, when they listen, he was trying to work UPS and real estate without burning out, which he was doing. And I finally told him when he joined my team, I said, you're working 7 days a week. There's no time to come up for air. You have to push off your best clients when you have to go to UPS on Friday, Saturday, and Monday. This marriage is not working for you. You need to remove that. So he had to overcome his mom and dad's objection, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, two years fast forward, he's doubled his business. He listens to me. So this month we said, Dan, let's put together a card, a card similar to this, 3-panel card that talked about a story. And in the story it said, wishing a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. Wishing a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. Take a snapshot of this picture of this card and put it on my wall, hashtag St. Patrick's Day. You'll be entered in to win a foursome at my golf course, a case of Guinness, or a $25 gift certificate to the some Irish bar up in Methuen. And he had 175 people enter into the contest. And he posted the winner last night. And he's got all these eyeballs. The whole investment cost him less than $100. And he's got all these eyeballs he can follow up with right now to tell them about his growing real estate business, who are most likely between the ages of 27 and 40. That perfect spot, first time buyer, first time seller, looking for a bigger house. And he did what I told him to do. And it's very easy to rinse and duplicate because you got opening day coming around the corner. You got Passover, you got Easter, you got Mother's Day, you got Memorial Day. So these ideas, even though that St. Patrick's Day contest is gone, all you do is change the verb and the subject and do the same thing. And then you create your own Zillow leads. You create your own Tiger lead. And hence, you're in control of what monies, what resources you may want to spend. And you're just making people happy. And that's the goal. Using a platform like Facebook to generate a funnel without paying these funnel fees, to then control it, put into your send-out card, follow-up appreciation system, and have people refer you business.
Have you ever had a card tweak someone or irritate someone?
Oh, absolutely. You can't please everybody. And people who stop sending cards because of the one bee sting, they're missing out on the joy of the butterfly. And you have to get over that it's good to fail. If you're making a mistake in your card, if you have a spelling error in your card, that teaches you something to be more careful, or congratulations, you must have sent out a lot of them and you just fell asleep on that one. Not the end of the world. And that's the mindset that people have to start with, is don't be in fear of failing, but don't let failure stop you from growing. And by sending out cards consistently, guess what? You become better at sending cards. I'll give you a couple examples. Like, what do you call these graphic designers you pay hundreds of dollars an hour to? So, look at this quality of this card. That's the new listing that we put under agreement for $60,000 over asking price because I had 72 people there. But this quality of card, I can send out 1 or 1,000. And it didn't take me much time to put together. Now that I have it, guess what I have now? I have another piece of tool in my listing presentation to showcase to the next listing presentation I have on a success story, grabbing a testimonial from Richard and his family, and then rinse and repeat and do it again, rinse and repeat and do it again. So the power of the system is infinite. It's a matter of the execution for you, me, your listeners to do it. Along with that, training yourself with good coaches and language to understand what moves the needle. No one ever told me this, but it's great. 31 years in the business, 53 years of age. We are just problem solvers. Find out what their problem is, put a plan together and solve it. Don't make it more complicated. Don't bring in the Keller Williams balloons or the LAER Lions or the other hokey stuff. That's important if you believe in your brand, which I'm sure you do. guaranteed rate. I'm sure you do. But you're solving a problem. And if we focus on, you're coming in here to get an interest rate quote, I'm going to solve that problem for you today. Hope to earn your business, but are you refinancing or are you buying a house? Oh, you're buying a house. That takes me to this channel. When are you buying a house? Okay, takes me to this channel. This is the problem I'm going to solve for you, so you don't have to go out into the marketplace and contact every Tom, Dick, and Harry who does not ask the right question and then put you on a blitz of over information. The listing agent, buyer agent, same type of thing. Remove the verb and the subject. Learn how to solve the problem when they call you. When they call you, I'm just starting to look. No problem. Most people are just starting to look. May I ask you another question? What? Is it just starting to look because you're tired of all these pushy salespeople, or you're just really in the beginning of the process? Because I could put you in touch with Suzanne, who is perfect to explain the process and get you really on the right track. I'm asking a question. There's going to be 2 answers. When I get those 2 answers, I'll decide which do I take to the 3rd question. Well, that's just sifting and sorting from great understanding of, fine, if you don't, again, I'm being abbreviated here, but my job, sir, is to help solve your problem. You wouldn't be calling me if you didn't really have a need to buy a house. But I understand your pressure points of not being hounded by a typical real estate agent. But did one ever ask you, what is the problem you're trying to solve? None? Great. I've separated myself from all the other people that you may have called. Would you agree? Yes, great. If I could take down your email, I want to put you on my drip campaign, give you access to my website, and if it's okay with you, follow up within 3 days. Watch your mail. You might get a small little treat from me. Thank you very much. How difficult is that to own and then execute? Now I've picked up a buyer who was a suspect on a piece of property that I turned into a customer who may become a client and a raving fan because I spent $15 on a box of brownies, asked the right questions to secure an email and a phone number and a full name instead of getting jibber jab from a Zillow lead or a chicken scratch open house signature, and nothing ever comes of it.
So let's say that I sold a house with you and you helped me sell my house. How often are you dripping this appreciation on clients? Are you open to sharing like what your system is? And I know you're doing the birthday cards.
Yeah, so between 3 weeks and 6 weeks, there's no reason not to categorize them, group them into former buyer and seller, great client, screaming raving fan, card once a month, card once every 3 weeks. It's up to you. There's no Salesforce rule. There's no Buffini database rule, in my opinion, because you're unique to your own understanding. Therefore, what I have a couple of different systems that if I haven't sent you an email, I get notified I haven't sent you an email in 3 weeks. Light goes off. Check to see if I sent her a card. Now, that doesn't happen because I'm always emailing you within 3 weeks. But those are systems that people can put into place. It's not too difficult to begin small and be consistent. I think there's a missing link for some people that the Google platform is such a powerful platform for free. People don't utilize it. You could put reminder notes in your Google Calendar to reach out to these 10 people. And there's 60 of those throughout the year. Isn't that a great reminder source? Some would say, oh, you got to put it into Goldmine. You got to put it into Salesforce. And I look at it and I say, you know something? That's not me, but this is what I'm talking about. Because I'm not an entry data person. I'm a combination coach, trainer, out in the field, and an entry data person. So therefore, it's not me. Maybe it's for a bigger team, but it's not me. So whoever your audience that might be listening on the recording or live, you find out who and what your team is about. If you have a team of 4 and you can push that to data entry all day long, beautiful. If you're a team of 1 and you want to look at it and say, beautiful, just group your top 25. Start with the 200 people that would come to your wake, your funeral, or more importantly, your wedding. Because they're the ones who are thirsty to hear from you. If you start with them, you'll be busy. You'll be really, really busy. And you don't have to take a Zillow lead or a broker manager lead or an Ops City lead. All those leads, when I was arguing with some of my peers in the office, you're running around with the suspect paying 35 to 38% to Ops City, Realtor.com, that's stealing our information after we posted somebody else's listing. What are we doing? We're feeding the devil. Go out and create an angel. And that angel, you'll control how you want to resource it in terms of, do I spend $10,000 a month, or $1,000 a month, or do I spend just $100 a month? But it's very doable.
You know what I found? Number one, the more relational I am, the happier I am.
Good.
But number two, when it's a relational client, they'll wait for you. You don't have to call in 5 minutes or in 15 minutes or whatever that timeline is. It's not that rat race. I remember having a conversation with a realtor and wanted me to sign on with Zillow leads. And I said, no, because she's like, isn't it great? You got to call back right away in 5 minutes. So I said, well, what if I'm on the toilet? What if I'm sleeping? I want to work when I want to work.
Well, what if you're with another great client and now you're taking away to service a potential suspect that will drop you as fast as a prospect comes in, and then a customer who you've been working with. So it feeds into that. And of course, someone will like, well, then you got to get another team member to get all these leads. Okay, guess what, folks? There's 35 million homes a year that are sold by Zillow somehow, yet the National Association reports only 5 million. Therefore, there's some false numbers being purported out there, which means they make their money on different ways of selling their services, but you don't have to buy into it. If you had enough relationship leads going on yourself, you wouldn't need Zillow. The only reason why you're talking about Zillow is because you don't have enough relationship leads. That tells us, here's the doctor prescription, go work on this. Everybody likes a simple call that says, hey, I'm looking at this house and they've sent me to you. It's 4:00 on a Sunday and we can see it in the next 3 or 4 days, Jay. Oh, that's perfect. Do you get those calls? No. Hey, it's 4:00. I'd like to see this. The Tournaments Players Championship is on right now. Can we see it at 7:30? No, I'll just call somebody else. Okay, cool. That's what happened to me this weekend. Now, someone will say, well, why do you buy Zillow leads? I have a system. I buy the least expensive zip code, which allows me then to use coming soon platform. But I'm circumventing the system of Zillow because I'm smart enough to understand if they're serving me something I don't have to buy, but I can interject and say, how can I benefit the Zillow platform that serves me well for my new coming listings, et cetera, and that's what I do. But I don't jump for the concierge Zillow service, and I don't jump for people that don't treat me well enough on the phone to make me want to work with them, because if they're on Zillow, they're going to be on Realtor.com, they're going to be on OpCity, they're going to be on Tom, Dick, and Harry, they're also going to be on anybody else's website. And they also might have a buyer's contract with an agent, but they don't want to bother them during the Tournament Players Championship.